Welcome back to another edition of On Point, Midwest Edition. James, somewhat feels like an off week. Saratoga and Del Mar are now in the rearview mirror. Belmont has started up, Santa Anita in a few weeks, but all eyes on the pastoral settings of Kentucky Downs this week. You'll be there. Some big stakes races, and we also have the Louisiana Derby down in the Bayou, and I think some good wagering opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they were great races once again at Kentucky Downs on that Saturday card with 4 stakes. There were 4 stakes last Saturday when you were there, and 4 stakes this Saturday. Obviously led by the Big Hoss, who is an overwhelming favorite as he tries to win the Kentucky Turf Cup for the second straight year.
Yeah, and our colleague at Churchill Downs, Joe Christofek, has said he is trying to beat the Big Hoss, and to be honest, I don't see it. I said the same about Frosted last week and was wrong. We're actually going to get a better price on the Big Hoss, so I don't think he'll be 2-5, even though he's the obvious choice. But had the fortune of seeing him in the St. Ledger at Arlington, and he was much the best. And there's no concern for the course. We know he can handle it. We know he can handle the distance. To me, he's proven himself the best at these types of races against this level. If he loses, to me, it's a crapshoot. Anyone can win. I just think he's much the best in this field.
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps last year the race had a little bit more pace, but he wasn't as good as well last year as he is right now. He's won 3 straight, so perhaps he might not show up with his best. It's tough to keep producing at such a high level because he's really been dominant in the last 2 at Belmont and at Arlington. And the other point, perhaps, with Joe's point of trying to beat him is the lack of pace. I mean, he's a late runner. He doesn't have to be far back, though. I mean, he can sit it within a few lengths if necessary, but there really isn't any speed on the field, on paper at least. I took a little bit of a look at that Bullard's Alley. I think he'll be setting the pace from post 2. And, while I wouldn't say, hey, I like him to win, I could see betting a straight exacta with the Big Hoss over him and maybe a saver with Bullard's Alley to Big Hoss.
All right, yeah, turf racing, stereotypically, people think, closers and off the pace, but Kentucky Downs actually fairly kind to front runners, and we saw some big prices on opening day going gate to wire, at least pressing the pace. So certainly can't fault you there. Speaking of no fault of mine is the pick for me in the Phillies race. The Beverly D seems to be coming back productive. The 8th place finisher won a stakes there last week. Vance Hansen picked her on top. I did not, but I paid attention to the running lines. So to me, the Beverly D gives me some confidence. This one seems a little even better spotted and will be 5-2 or 3-1, not quite the price we got last week on the Beverly D also ran. But I do like No Fault to Mine, and her and the Big Hoss are definitely going to be keys for me in the pick 4, and for me, hopefully the prices will come in the other races.
Yeah, I'll mention a horse, Dimension. He looks, he's 8 years old, but he's got a couple stakes wins this year. I won't count that last race against him. And he won over the course last year. He won the Turf Dash at 6.5 furlongs, but I think at miles easily within his scope. He looks pretty live to me in a contentious race, more than ready. And in the Philly race, I did take No Fault of Mine, it's definitely tough, but I looked at that inside out a little bit for Arnold Delacour. Looks like an improving filly. Second stakes attempt. I think she could be at least alive for the vertical exotics, if not the win.
All right, well, that's Kentucky Downs. Hootenanny also on the card is in the last race, an interesting turf sprint right there. So check it out. Pick 4 action. You'll be there tweeting out some picks.
Who's your Super Derby pick?
Well, I was going to say in the Super Derby, Motom is the favorite.
Right.
Certainly a soft spot, having seen him win the Ohio Derby. But I do think he's up against it here. I looked at I don't play Louisiana Derby often, but looking at the Brisnet PPs, speed, even at a mile and an eighth, the dirt routes seems to be better than the closers. And there isn't a lot of speed in there. I think Texas Chrome can steal it on the front end, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I definitely took a look at him. I like Dalmore a little bit shipping in, but you're going to get a better price with Texas Chrome. And, I'm willing to try to beat Uncle Mo as a probable odds-on favorite. He's only run one since the Kentucky Derby, and he missed the schedule race in the West Virginia Derby. Amos said he'd come back later that month, and now he's running 6 weeks later. So a little bit of a concern, about how fit he'll be, but definitely, if he's the one to beat.
Better Super Derby, Sunday Silence or Tis Now?
Well, Sunday Silence, yeah. I mean, Tis Now was, boy, oh boy, there's a fast improvement of Colto.
Yeah, we already knew Sunday Silence was by that point. Tis now, of course, coming into his own. But yeah, very some big winners of the race. Used to be
Unbridled
used to be a mile and a
ran in
quarter.
there.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been the year after Sunday Silence. So
Mhm.
yeah, it used to be a mile and a quarter. Had some Grade 1 years in it too, but hopefully found a niche on the calendar. I think it's good to get a big race down there at Louisiana Downs and some other stakes on the supporting card. And I know Lucky's putting something together.
And they've been getting big fields, Louisiana Downs,
Yeah.
for their final week. So yeah, there'll be some good betting opportunities.
Absolutely, and we've seen some of the. They have a 2-year-old turf race, I believe, and we've seen some winners out of there come up to Keeneland. So
Right, that'd be ticket, yeah.
yeah, worth watching on Saturday. James will be at Kentucky Downs. I'll be at Woodbine next week, so a lot of action. We'll join you then.